Okay, so there's no doubt about the fact that Spider-Man is officially back home at Marvel. Whether you like it or not, think we can all agree that that was a really good move by Sony to start contracting a deal between Marvel and Sony to work together to bring Sony's Spider-Man back to the MCU and give him his own rebooted movies and basically everything along those lines, and give him Spider-Man Homecoming and put him in Civil War. I think we can all agree that that was a good idea and a good move on Sony's part. However, with this upcoming Venom movie that's being made by Sony, I don't think that Sony is completely contemplating the fact that maybe we should give all the rights to Marvel and not, keep some of the rights and make their own movies. I think Marvel is the best suited company to make their own movies based off the Spider-Man character and his lore and with all of his characters. But with that being said, there's no doubt about it that they want to make... Kevin Feige has come out and said that he would like to make up to 5 Spider-Man films. And you know what? I'm here to tell you guys that those 5 films are probably going to be a lot different than what we're used to of Spider-Man. See, with Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's movies, we got some of the villains that we wanted to see, except for Venom, who was completely wasted and ruined on screen. We got Green Goblin in the first Spider-Man movie by Raimi, we got Dr. Octopus, we got Sandman, we got Venom, New Goblin, which is not really a comic book character. Then we get the Lizard, Electro, and Rhino for like 2 seconds of the movie. And it's also been stated that Kevin Feige doesn't really want to go back and revisit old villains. They want to branch out and get some new villains in there. Now, even though that can't be really completely 100% true, because you need Oscorp. You need Oscorp and you need Norman Osborn, you need Harry Osborn, you need all of those characters. You need the Osborn family in Spider-Man. Otherwise, it's not Spider-Man. It's just Man-Spider or something. I don't know. It's not Spider-Man unless you have Harry Osborn, Norman Osborn, and Oscorp in general. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is they want to branch out and get some new villains out there that have never been seen before on film, because Spider-Man definitely has the biggest rogues gallery at Marvel. So without further ado, I'm here to count down the top 10 villains I would like to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now keep in mind, I'm not going to say that all 10 of these villains should be in the MCU. I'm saying that some of these villains should be in the MCU considering they're wanting to do 5 movies. So yeah, maybe put 2 villains in a movie, or maybe do the Sinister Six. And we'll just keep talking about Spider-Man and other stuff at Marvel and other such stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get into the top 10 list. Coming in at number 10, we have Tombstone. Now, not much is known about Tombstone when it comes to the biggest Spider-Man's, his biggest foes. Tombstone is definitely not one of those big villains that we know to love, like Doctor Octopus and Green Goblin. He's not one of those big villains, but I would like to see Tombstone. If you've ever seen the original Spider-Man cartoon, the animated series from the 90s, or if you've seen the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show, you know that Tombstone can be kind of a menacing villain. Now, I don't know much about Tombstone because, as far as I know, his origin story wasn't really explored in the TV shows. However, I do know he's kind of a daredevil villain as well, and his real name is Lonnie Thompson. He's a street fighter, and his name was Tombstone, and he became a professional thug for some mob, and I think he executed some local crime boss, and he got his name out there as the Tombstone. I would like to see Tombstone appear in the Marvel Universe, in the MCU. He's definitely one of those obscure Marvel villains, but I think it'd be pretty cool. He's like the Black Mask of the MCU. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. Coming in at number 9 is not really a villain, because technically she can go both ways, like Catwoman, Black Cat. Black Cat is portrayed by, but Black Cat is Felicia Hardy, and If you guys saw my Spider-Man 2 pitch, you obviously know that a newcomer in Spider and Peter Parker's social group is Felicia Hardy in my Spider-Man 2 pitch. It's not that hard to bring in Black Cat, considering that she's a kick-ass. Sometimes she's with Spider-Man, sometimes she's a villain, sometimes she's not. But if she is with Spider-Man, she's pretty kick-ass, and the two of them kick-ass together a lot. And Jesus, I'm saying kick-ass a lot. I would like to see Black Cat in a Marvel movie. She was kind of teased. Felicia Hardy was kind of teased in the Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield, but we never got to see her in her full Black Cat outfit with the white hair and all that. You know, she was just in her business outfit and blah, 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 blah. She's actually a cat burglar, basically. You know, I think her father was a cat burglar, too. And then before his arrest, he like gave her some lecture or something like that, as far as I remember from Black Cat's story. And then she became and tried to work out just like what her father did. She's a cat burglar, and she's also a really cool character. I'd really like to see Black Cat in the movies. It'd be kind of a fun thing to see, you know. Even though we did get her teased in the previous movies, let's bring her in. Coming in at number 8, we have the 1920s style villain Hammerhead. Now, Hammerhead, I believe, from what his origin story of what I can remember, he was in a car accident and it like misshaped his head and his head was damaged. Basically, he has an iron plate in his head that he got after the car crash, and basically his head can survive like a bullet, something like that. It's really indestructible too. He also has guns. He's like a 1920s type gangster, like in the Al Capone days. And I think it'd be really cool. Hammerhead's also kind of an obscure Spider-Man villain, but he is incredibly well known. So I think it'd be cool to see him. I don't know if he would fit the nowadays Spider-Man movies, considering he is kind of a 20s villain. Not a 20s villain, but he's more suited. You think of Hammerhead when you see Spider-Man Noir. So Hammerhead is definitely one of those villains that's, you know, he's definitely a villain and he's definitely out there, but, you know, I think we'd have a better time seeing Black Cat or Tombstone, to be honest, than Hammerhead. Coming in at number 7, we have the Chameleon, the Shapeshifter Chameleon. There's 2 Spider-Man Shapeshifter villains, and that would be Mysterio and Chameleon. Chameleon can turn into anyone he wants. I believe Mysterio can too. But we're not talking about Mysterio right now, because Mysterio, I think, might be too hard to do. And if you get Sony involved in Mysterio too much, you're going to have a big mess on your hands. So get a more down-to-earth version of Mysterio, and get Chameleon, who can basically disguise himself. He looks cool, too. He's got that metal silver mask. I don't know much about Chameleon's origin story. I just know he's a really kick-ass villain. So let's bring him in. Coming in at number 6, we have a wasted villain in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 that could be redeemed in Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and that is the Rhino. Rhino was only in the Amazing Spider-Man for a period of like 5 minutes or less. He was in that beginning opening heist scene, and then he was at the end challenging Spider-Man and that little kid. Let's bring him back. Let's go comic book route. Let's give him the comic book origin story where he is a Rhino. Don't give him a metal suit. Don't give him none of that bullshit. Let's have him be the badass Rhino that we know from the comics and we know and love. Coming in at number 5 is also a villain from my pitch, my Spider-Man 2 pitch, and that would be Kraven the Hunter. You don't have to place Salman Khan as the Kraven the Hunter. There are several other actors. Jason Momoa would have been good, but he's locked in with DC. And Gerard Butler might be a good Kraven. We have several actors that could play a good Kraven the Hunter. Kraven is such a badass, and he's a Russian hunter, and he's so brute, and he's just so brute, and brute, and he's just kind of a really cool, badass villain. I wasn't really a fan of Kraven the Hunter a long time ago, because back then, when I was a little bit younger, I was like, Kraven's cool and all, I guess, but he doesn't fit with Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus. Turns out, no. He's actually a much more compelling and cooler villain than that. So, hell yeah, let's bring in Kraven. Number 4, the other villain of my pitch, Spider-Man 2 pitch, would be Scorpion, Matt Gargan. We've already got him introduced in the MCU, so let's bring him into a movie. Give him the armored suit. Give him the green suit. Or hell, go, you know that Spider-Man game for the PS1, like the PlayStation 1, or the Spider-Man movie game, Scorpion was in that. Give him the blue and green suit with the horns, that'd be awesome. Scorpion, he's already been Matt Gargan. Spoilers for Spider-Man Homecoming. He was already introduced in Spider-Man Homecoming. So, he's already there. Matt Gargan's there. He's in prison, so have him break out. Be the Scorpion. We can see him shoot out his tail. Maybe even get the personality of the one from the cartoon. We could have maybe him getting trapped in the suit forever so he can never be a normal human, and maybe he wants to get revenge for it. Bring in the Scorpion. Another spoiler for Spider-Man Homecoming, bring in the Hobgoblin. And the reason why I say this is a spoiler for Spider-Man Homecoming is Ned, Peter's best friend, is the Hobgoblin. Ned Leeds becomes the Hobgoblin. However, I don't think they're going to go that route, where they're going to make him the Hobgoblin, because he seems too much of a nice guy. That's why in my pitch I had him become a bad guy. I don't think his best friend will betray him like that. And but if he does, have the Hobgoblin be in there, because the Hobgoblin is, I think he's one of the only goblins that we haven't seen in a Spider-Man movie yet. We've seen the new Goblin, we've seen the Green Goblin. Let's bring in the Hobgoblin, and let's bring him into a live-action Spider-Man movie for the first time. Coming in at number 2, we kind of have a cop-out, because I said we were going to do new villains, but hell, let's see the Green Goblin done right. I think people are still stuck on Willem Dafoe's performance as the Green Goblin. Now, yes, he did an amazing job as the Green Goblin, but let's see someone else take the reins of the Green Goblin. Let's see a creepier Green Goblin. Let's see a comic book accurate Green Goblin with the purple on his outfit and the actual cool looking glider and the crazy, the crazy personality. Because when Green Goblin is Norman Osborn, he's just the normal businessman. He's Lex Luthor. To compare this if I'm comparing this to DC, he's Lex Luthor when he's the businessman. But when he's Green Goblin, he's full on Marvel's Joker. So let's bring in the Green Goblin, and let's have him done right. I said Matthew McConaughey. If you want to do Matthew McConaughey, or if you want to do Harry, go ahead. Skip Norman and go straight to Harry. I'd be fine with that, and I think a lot of people would be too. Just bring in the Goblin. And coming in at number 1, we've already seen that piece of shit movie Spider-Man 3, right? Well, I'm not saying we should bring back Venom, but why don't we bring back his offspring, played by an actual suitable actor, Carnage. Carnage is definitely my number 1 pick for the Spider-Man villains that I want to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Carnage, I do know. Carnage, I know like the back of my head. He is a crazy serial killer who was put in jail, and then you have this red symbiote, and it also makes the person crazy. And so you have Cletus Cassidy, who's already a crazy serial killer, and then you mix him with the red symbiote that makes someone crazy. You just get too much crazy, and he's a rampaging villain. He's an unstoppable force that Spider-Man has to learn to deal with and learn to, get out there and stop. But it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's going to be hard for Spidey to take down Carnage. Carnage is my number 1 pick, and of course we got to get into some actors who could play a good Carnage. My first pick, he may be a little too old, but hell, he's already played a psychotic murderer in a TV show before. Let's bring in Michael C. Hall as Cletus Cassidy, or Carnage. I think he'd be a really good, Carnage, because not only has he played a crazy murderer before in Dexter, but he's also a redhead. Cletus Cassidy is kind of a redhead guy, and he's just bring him in. Just bring in him as Cletus Cassidy. I don't have any other actors who could play a good Cletus Cassidy. Just bring him in. If you want to go an older Cletus Cassidy, bring in fucking Conan. I don't care. It's just Carnage. You got to bring in Carnage. So anyway, guys, that was my list of the top 10 villains I would like to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Welcome to my new channel, guys. This is going to be the first video on my channel. If you guys enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. Stay tuned for more videos, comic book related videos on my channel, on my new channel, and keep out on my main channel too, because I'll definitely be, uploading on that. I'll be uploading on both back and forth. So hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. And let me know who you would like to see as a villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Goodbye, everyone.